Hello Gut Squad and welcome back to my channel. This is Cecily, as always. Today is a long overdue video and I am so sorry for my absence last week. I fell upon quite a bit of pain last week in addition to having to register for my classes for college, and it was just a hectic one for me. So unfortunately I didn't get anything up last week, but I'm making up for that today. So why am I wearing a Spider-Man Snuggie, you may ask? Why is there a bunch of Spider-Man crap on my desk? Well, that's because today I'm going to be talking about one of my role models from childhood that persists to this day and explains a lot of my decorating choices, some of them questionable. So that is Spider-Man, obviously. Now I want to give a big shout out to one of my YouTube friends whose YouTube name is Abby Talks Motility. She's such a sweet girl and I would love it if you guys went and checked out her channel. She's really intelligent and she knows a lot about motility disorders just like mine, and she, like me, has an ostomy, so if you guys enjoy my type of content, I think you'll like hers as well. She did a video talking about why Mr. Rogers was her role model from a young age. I really related to that because I love Mr. Rogers as well, and I thought that he was a great role model. I think that his teachings of compassion, caring for other people, loving your neighbor despite being different from them, is something that the world needs in general right now, maybe more than it has in recent years. I really enjoyed the message of her video. So I wanted to make a similar video, talking about my biggest role model as a kid, and even into the present day. Now I know that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is a fictitious character and is not a real life character, and I assure you that I do have actual living role models and mentors as well. I started loving Spider-Man when I was around 8, and I will admit that my initial reasons for liking him so much were his banter with the Green Goblin, because the first time I saw Spider-Man was in the very first Tobey Maguire movie with Green Goblin. I also just loved his costume. The costume was really what spoke to me. I really enjoyed his costume. I thought that it was such an interesting concept to have a dude swinging from building to building and having spider-like abilities. As I got older, I maintained my love for Spider-Man, and it actually grew into what could now be considered a full-blown obsession. The reason that he persists as my favorite superhero of all time is because he stands for a lot of the things that I want to achieve in my life. The first thing that makes him such a great hero is that he's very relatable to the common person. Unlike Superman, he wasn't born with some amazing supernatural ability. He grew up as a human. Unlike Batman, he wasn't born with incredible wealth and a pedigree that made him cut out for greatness. It wasn't anything external to him that made him great. Yes, his Spider-Man superpowers made him a superhero, but really what makes Spider-Man amazing is not just his superpower, it's his resilience. It's his moral stature. He was offered by almost every one of his rivals to join them. He always said no. He looked up to his Uncle Ben. His Uncle Ben reminds me of my mom, and a lot of the lessons that he sort of portrayed as a superhero in the MCU, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kind of are consistent with a common person stepping up and doing the right thing. Spider-Man could have taken his spider bite one of two ways. He could have taken it as, oh my god, this is awesome, and I'm gonna become a superhero now, which is what he did. Or he could have been resentful of it, hated himself for it, thought of himself as a freak of nature, and been self-loathing. He didn't do that. And that's why I think he's so special. Not because he was bitten, but because he did something so great with his newfound ability, with his newfound weirdness. And as someone who was unfortunately randomly struck with a chronic illness as a young person, I can't help but relate to that. I can't help but try to say to myself, how am I gonna take this? Am I gonna take this like a hero? Or am I gonna take this like someone who is self-pitying and self-hating? The other thing about Spider-Man that's really important to note is that he wasn't always perfect. And I think that's really important. Even Stan Lee, in one of the interviews that I've read about with him, said that the MCU has created so many amazing heroes, but Spider-Man stands alone. And I think, again, it's his relatability. He wasn't always perfect. He wasn't always sure of himself. He was actually known in the MCU for being kind of doubting of himself. That is something to embrace in yourself sometimes. It's okay to doubt yourself. It's okay to think, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can take down this big villain, or if I can handle another hospitalization, or if I can ace this test. What's important about Spider-Man, and I think what's important about people who live up to their potential, is that they don't let the fear of failure stop them from trying. I've tried to keep keep this as my mantra throughout my life. Even if the whole world seems stacked against you, your pain seems irreconcilable with a normal life, it's never going to behoove you to sit in your room and not try. It's never going to behoove you to give up. It's never going to behoove you to blame someone else for something that no one can control. And I think it's really easy to come into a self-hating, self-doubting mind space when you feel like shit, when you feel like the whole universe must just want you to suffer. It's very easy to fall into that pattern. But I think what people tend to miss, especially nowadays in this time of filtering and Instagram perfection, is that no one is perfect, and that allowing yourself the freedom to say, I'm not gonna be perfect today. I'm not even gonna be 10% of perfect. I'm just gonna be enough to do right by myself, my family, my friends, and my obligations, be it school, be it work, be it taking care of your pet. I don't care what it is. As long as you don't let the fear of not being perfect keep you from doing something great, you're a hero. I think everyone who suffers with a chronic illness and lives to tell the tale and lives to not resent other people for not being in pain and decides that, okay, even though things seem really shitty right now and my life seems like it's going in the wrong direction, I'm losing mobility, I'm losing the ability to control my defecation, my urination, my mind, my hands, my limbs. People are plagued with all sorts of issues, and even if you have what you think is the worst of it, you're here for a reason. You don't have to be Superman to be great. You can be Peter Parker, who had girl problems, money problems, family problems, and yet he still managed to get up every single day, be a stellar student, try his hardest, and also fight crime at night, which I'm not telling you guys you have to do. Don't be a vigilante. I resonate with something happening to you that is out of your control and sort of random, and yet taking it in stride and not being ashamed of it. Find someone, even if they're fictitious, to admire and look up to and say, that's an example that I think speaks to the human condition and speaks to the resilience of the human condition, because it'll just keep you motivated. And that is my message to you all. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was somewhat interesting for you guys. If you have anything you want to add to this conversation, if you want to tell me what your superhero inspiration is or your real life inspiration is, please let me know. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. And as always, stay healthy, happy, hydrated, and safe out there, Gut Squad. Bye! And yes, this is actually like a full-ass Snuggie. But I got this and it said kids 8 to 15 or something. And I was like, that's great. I'm short enough to fit in something that's meant for an 8-year-old. That can't be a bad thing, right? Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye!